Good morning, guys. This is Coach Toyin, Christian Transformation Lifestyle Coach, founder of the Narrow Gateway. How are you all doing this morning? I'm recording this on a Monday morning. Going on my usual morning walk and pray, but I'm a bit tired this morning. Didn't do much sleeping in the night, but still pushing the walk. But what I wanted to share with you this morning is actually an experience that I had sometime last week when I went on a walk. It was actually quite interesting. So basically, I had a whole lot more energy than I have now. Um, and basically what happened was I was walking around the park in my estate. I must have walked around that park like 10 times. I was fast walking, praying. I was probably praying out loud. I mean, I have my earphones on all the time when I'm walking. But chances are I was actually praying out loud because I was just like in that intense zone with God, just praying through a number of things. And there were, I walked around the park quite a few times, so I saw that there were some guys inside the park. They're trainers. Now that happens pretty often in the state that I live in, and I'm sure in other places as well, where there are trainers that sort of hang around the estate, and you know they look great. They're all buffed up with the muscles and stuff like that, and they look like what they are, which is trainers. Let me just put it that way, if you get my meaning. And they're working hard and stuff like that. And I have experienced it in the past where they will approach you when you're walking or you're exercising, and basically to let you know, oh, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right. Why don't you try this? I could train you. Basically, they're selling their services, And so I knew these guys would look at me and think, oh, this woman looks like she needs some help. She will probably be easy prey. Now you need to understand the mindset. It's definitely not the mindset of everybody, so don't get me wrong, but it's definitely the mindset of many, which is that you see a 30-something-year-old woman who is clearly not 100% fit, and you just think, okay, and then you present yourself as this really hot-looking 20-something, maybe, I don't know, whatever-year-old man who looks fantastic. And the truth is that a lot of women would swoon for that, because the guys often come up to you with a lot of flirtation in mind, and they're offering you exercise and stuff like that to help you get fit and basically look like your best self, as far as they consider your best self to look like. And so I saw them and I knew that, okay, these guys were going to approach me at some point. But I'm like, you know what, they can see me praying, they can see me watching, they can see me praying, see me walking, so they'll respect that. But guess what? I'm walking around and with all the intensity that you can imagine, praying and walking, doing my brisk walking, and most of the time either my eyes are up because I love praying and looking into the sky, because it just makes me feel really disconnected from my physical awareness and more connected with the spirit, if you understand what I mean. So I love looking up while I walk and pray, or I'm just look right down so that I don't get distracted. So I'm definitely not looking around in their direction. And this guy walks up to me and he literally intercepts my walk, and he sticks his phone in front of my face, and there's a video that he's showing on his phone, and he's basically showing a video of probably himself training somebody. Do you understand? And he sticks this video in front of my face and he's talking to me. Now I can't hear what he's saying because my earphones are on. And he sticks this video in front of me and he's talking to me, and I know that he's probably saying to me, look and see what I can do for you. Do you understand? Look and see how you could do it better. Look and see how you could make sure that you work hard on what it is that you want to achieve, physically in your physical body, so that you can look like what you want to look like. Do you understand? I mean, I'm making a presumption here, but I think it's a safe presumption. And at first I ignored him for like a second, and then I looked up and I looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, but I'm praying. And the look on his face was one of shock. I think he might have been shocked that I would decline the opportunity to, even if it's just engage, even if I don't end up hiring him, but at least engage this hot-looking trainer of a man, Either that, or he was just shocked that I would say that I'm praying, and that this is what I'm spending my walk doing, praying. And so I said to him, no, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm praying. And I looked at him, looked away, and carried on with my walk. And I know that he was behind me, just shocked for a second then. And the whole experience was very interesting to me. I was telling my husband about it later on, that, for me, this was a lot about what you prioritize in life, okay? What you prioritize in life. So why do you exercise? You exercise because it's good for your body. It's good for your health. You understand? Your body was created to be active. Your body was not created to be sedentary. Your body works best, actually, when you're active, when you are engaging it. The oxygen is flowing, the blood is flowing, your muscles are getting toned, they're getting built up. It's good for your body. It is healthy, it is the right thing. The truth, though, is that we have come to worship our bodies. And that started happening right from when Adam and Eve sinned. We have come to worship our bodies, and we have come to view and experience life from the perspective of our physical realm and our physical self. Do you understand? So the way in which I experience the things that happen to me on a daily basis, most often experience ourselves from the realm of the physical, from the realm of the emotional, from the realm of the logical, right? Our primary reference in life happens to be the physical, the emotional realm, the logical realm, the mental realm. And we have fallen, when the Bible says that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. What it means is that when we were created, before the fall of man, before man sinned, we were created to have our point of reference, primarily our identity, our understanding of life and the world and the things that are happening around us, our experience of life. We were created to experience life primarily from the place of the Spirit. We were given a body. The Bible says that before we were born, He knew us, meaning that we were spirit. We existed already within God. That's what the Bible says. We existed already within God. And He breathed, and then He formed man, the physical body, and He breathed us into this man. You understand? He breathed into him the breath of life, and man became a living being here on earth, expressing himself in the earth in physical form because God gave him a body. And what happened when we sinned is that our bodies became the primary reference. Because if you remember in Genesis 3, when Adam and Eve sinned, what was the first thing that they did? They made clothes for themselves with leaves and stuff like that. Why? Because for the first time, they realized that they were naked. How come they didn't know that before? Because the state of their physical bodies, how they look, if they're exposed, if they're not, the Bible says that when God created them, they were naked but not ashamed. The fact is they were naked. But nakedness or wearing clothes and the way your body looks and how it makes you feel, how it makes you interact with God, how it makes you interact with the world, was not their primary reference, was not their primary consciousness. It was nothing. Because all they were doing was having perfect union with one another and perfect union with God. Building, multiplying, subduing the earth, doing what God had sent them to do. Being fruitful in the earth. Perfect union with God. Because they were living the life of God in the Spirit. They were doing life from their place in the realm of God's Spirit, as opposed to doing life from a consciousness of their physical environment, from a primary consciousness of the physical, because they were conscious of the physical environment. Don't get me, the Bible is clear. They were busy doing things. They were naming animals. They were doing things God sent them to be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth. So of course they were conscious of their physical environment, but it was not their identity. But as soon as they fell, it became their identity. It became the dictator of their reaction to God, of their reaction to the world, and it started to determine what began to happen with them going forward. Things that we hadn't seen before. Shame. The Bible says they were ashamed and they hid from God. They were afraid and they hid from God. Why? Because they had fallen. Their physical eyes had opened. I'm talking about the eyes of the physical and the carnal man had opened, whereas their spiritual eyes were closed, and it continued to be closed, to be even more shut from that time on. That's what the Bible talks about when it talks about man was separated from God. And man will surely die. When the Bible says, you shall surely die if you eat of that fruit, it's talking about you shall surely experience a separation from the life of God in the Spirit. And when that separation happens, the downward spiral is ongoing, and we still see it up until now. I'm going to carry this on in a second video and sort of try to bring it home, how it all relates to what I was sharing about this experience with the trainer. So make sure you watch video 2.